Yeah. 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 Memories. Memories.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the grand finals of our EU console open tier mid-season tournament. We've got Smelvin Industries, the upstart, taking down what was at least my favorite to win this whole thing in MME ATX earlier on in the bracket, and they're going up against AFMT here for all of the marbles and an extra win on their record for the rest of the season. I am joined today by To Try Hard Ray. How are you feeling today?
Feeling pretty good. Excited to get some EU hours under my belt. It's been a minute. I've been a little bit busy in the afternoons, but finally have some free time, and I love casting the EU side. So we'll go ahead and start things out by showing you guys Smelvin Industries roster as we are looking at Robbie Hash, Adam, Fast CN, Tobbs, and Lammy. So a very strong team, as you mentioned, taking down MME.
Yeah, I mean, I was there. I watched that game, and I mean, they look like a real contender. I mean, they just look strong and scary. But this other team is no joke. They made it to the grand finals just like Smelvin did. Let's take a look at AFMT's lineup. We've got Ank and Many on the DPS line. Jonah and Jot holding it down on the back line. And on the tank, it's going to be Rex on a radio. So, I mean, another really strong roster looking to take this extra win going into the second half of the season. Now, if we could get a look at our map, not map pool, but map order, I guess. The first map in this grand final is going to be Busan, and from there, it's going to be, just like every other playoff game, loser picks. It's going to go to Hybrid, and then Flashpoint for, it's just first to 3, so no first to 4. That'll be for the end of the season. If we need a fourth map, it'll be Push, and then if we need a fifth, we'll be going to Escort. So, what are you thinking here for Busan?
I think it's really going to depend on those submaps, because if you think about Mecha Base specifically, you always tend to see some sort of brawl or rush style composition. Obviously, right now, the meta is to go with more of an Orisa style, but I've seen throughout the playoffs, we've seen Reinhardt getting thrown in, Junker Queen, so any form of that. But if you go to downtown, I think that's going to lend itself a little bit more to dive. Maybe you throw in the Diva. Maybe we see some Wrecking Balls, but EU is known for loving its brawl and rush, so Reinhardt, Junker Queen, Orisa, I think that's what we're going to be in store for. But we got to keep in mind what's at stake here. The winner gets an extra match point in their favor toward the seeding for the overall playoffs. Second place is going to get, I believe it's 2 map points in their favor when it comes to seeding. So those match points could really matter for A, making the playoffs, or B, seeding.
Yeah, I mean, looking to be a very, very good match here. We're going to see what these teams are going to run out on here. Seeing the Brigana, that makes me think not what I was thinking. Okay, that's closer to what I was thinking. Rex on radio, pairing up the Diva with Jot and Jonah's Brigana. And then Smelvin Industries, they looked really strong on their rush comps versus MME ATX the other day. So I'm not surprised to see this at all. They look very, very good on the Zarya and AFMT, coming out on a bit of a dive.
Which it kind of makes sense specifically for the map we're on, which is downtown. The big problem is with this Zarya composition, this Diva is going to struggle, but they found the Tracer. That's going to spell disaster. As we're going to see Mini heading up to this high ground, trying to take control and click those heads. But as we mentioned, with the Tracer going down early, that's going to be an easy first cap point for Smelvin Industries. The goal for AFMT is going to probably going after Robbie Hash here. They found him. Unfortunately, the Widow is traded out, but is an even 4v4 as they continue to push the point, trying to find and prod for more picks as Anke is trying to get this Mei, but they're so tough to take down the Mei.
Okay.
Okay, you're back.
Top, I guess, connected to the wrong internet. But Smelvin Industries looking pretty good. Last time I saw Smelvin, we're seeing it right now. Adam does not miss with those eye signals. I mean, the Mei, he's so good at the Mei. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. He's basically playing Widowmaker. I mean, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And you see AFMT having to make that swap over to the Zarya with this new patch coming in. Zarya is just that ultimate powerful, just wrecking machine, being able to give those DPS that extra shielding with the bubble, give you more charge, and then you can melt pretty much anything as Anke is trying to find a Pulse Bomb, finds it and gets the Robbie Hash.
Now, Robbie Hash falls early here, but we're going to see a grab counter out from Fast. CN, the Blizzard out from Adam as well. I believe it was just Rex on radio that got frozen, but the nano boost from Jonah able to sustain and keep the Zarya alive, and that is going to be their first flip here on downtown.
It's very impressive. The thing for AFMT, because they're playing the Ana, they need to capitalize pretty heavily on these anti-nades. Smelvin will be able to come back in with the sound barrier, but Mini is very close to this Blizzard. Having to mirror the Mei, I think it's a very smart decision. But the thing with Anke being on the Tracer, Robbie Hash is always going to have to be very careful because the Tracer can put a lot of pressure onto the Sojourn. As now we see Mini taking down Adam. They don't even need a stinking Blizzard as the Graviton Surge comes in, finds two with the anti-nade from Jonah, and that is going to be a quick and easy team fight wrap up for Smelvin Industries. Only having to use that Graviton Surge, you have got to be feeling pretty good, and in the meantime they've built up to 3 ultimates of their own. Smelvin Industries only has this sound barrier online. They're probably going to have to hold it for that Blizzard, as again we're continuing to see Jonah get a lot of value out of these nades. If you're Smelvin, because they're finding good value, you're forced to use bubbles a little bit more early, and you're using them at inopportune times, but the pressure has been put onto Jonah finally, but is returned in favor for Adam, and Wreck on a radio is just wrecking havoc with this Zarya. And with the sound barrier sustained for Smelvin Industries, however, it's not going to be enough. AFMT, after swapping and mirroring the composition to a degree, have now really turned things around.
Yeah, okay, I'm back. Sorry, my laptop's being annoying, but I'm finally switched to the right internet, and I'll be good to go now. This is, okay. Smelvin, 1 ult in the bank. AFMT, 2. So, I mean, the attack looking very, very strong for AFMT right now, as Robbie Hash is going to go down in the Mei ult here. Frozen up, taken down. Rex on a radio. Rex on a radio. Absolutely dominating. Make that 4 for the Zarya. Coming back out here. We see the Boostio as a celebratory ultimate there, as AFMT is going to take downtown.
Very impressive to just realize, like, look, this composition with the Diva is just going to get eaten alive by the Zarya. Let's just match it, and we should be in a very good spot, and that they were. As we head next to Sanctuary here. We're going to see AFMT making the swap over to that Orisa style composition. Got a slight nerf with the patch. The Fortify is not as strong as it previously was. My question is for Smelvin Industries, Zarya, if you can continue to have high charge, you can really melt that Orisa, because your Javelin spin as Orisa is absolutely useless against the primary fire of a Zarya.
Yeah, and with that Zarya, the buff does not help you if you're a selfish Zarya player. You have to play around your team and bubble your team if you want that, which was a really big buff to a projected barrier. If you want that to be useful, you have to be able to be unselfish with your bubbles, because they come back so fast if you throw even one onto your teammates. And here we go. We're getting in here. Lammy speeding Smelvin Industries onto Rex on a radio. Not able to take it down, but Jot gets shot by Robbie Hash. Has to back out briefly, but is it just me, or was Rex on a radio standing still? And
Yeah,
I'm going to assume
to get the pause.
that is exactly what happened. Rex on a radio probably having some issues there, but you know, good start for Smelvin on this sub map now, though. You know.
Yeah, so far so good for AFMT. The big issue, especially when you're playing the Alari and you're not going to have a Lucio to be able to throw into the fight to help your Orisa speed around, is you're really relying heavily on that Alari finding those picks, and they just haven't found it so far. I mean, NK gets a pick onto Tobbs, but that's going to be just a clean up for Smelvin Industries, as AFMT is going to have to find something, as Rex on a radio, I mean, was having trouble with the connection, but still this Orisa is going to have trouble finding value, especially with MA and a Zarya, but they have found a pick onto Robbie Hash.
That's what you like to see with your Zarya, or not Zarya, but Hanzo. Finding that early headshot on to Robbie Hash, who is so deadly on this Sojourn. Getting that Sojourn out of the question early is a really, really important pick here. Now they're trying to walk on the fast CN, able to get around the corner. Tobbs and Lammy able to keep that Zarya up for a while, but not forever, as fast CN falls early here. Now, Mini ends up getting traded out, but Ankh is looking strong here, and it's going to be another flip here. As Ankh finds two, they're going to take the point.
It's just seeming very familiar to the previous map on Downtown. AFMT, they lose the first fight, but then they find these swaps to make in order to give themselves that extra needed viability and pressure onto what Smelvin Industries is playing. And Ankh going over to the Soldier 76 has been that, as now the amplification matrix is popped.
Yeah, Fest able to stay alive there despite the spear from Rex on a radio. Has almost 70% charge right now. So that's going to do a lot of damage if he can get up into the face of anybody on AFMT. A good wall from Adam to throw, to keep that amp matrix from hit. Good wall from Adam to keep the headshots from Mini coming. But the tactical visor from Ankh is looking like it's going to do wonders for them. Not finding any final blows, but it's going to scare Smelvin Industries and have to push them around these corners where they don't want to play.
AFMT is doing a great job with this Orisa style. I mean, this is more of a poke composition with the Soldier and the Hanzo. Problem is, Adam comes back with a Blizzard online. The good thing for AFMT is they've been playing extremely split and taking a lot of angles, so it's going to be tough for Adam to find the value, especially when the Orisa can just fortify out of it. So you got to look for a key target to go after and focus on with this Blizzard.
And you can see there Robbie Hash trying to take down that healing pylon, but it's going to be Rex on a radio starting us off with two. Robbie Hash and Lammy fall so early, but Fastian and Adam happy to take it back here. The fight's not over yet, as Jot and Jonah are still alive. It is a 2v2 here for this fight. And Adam, with sniper-like accuracy with those icicles, able to take down two. And it's going to be Smelvin Industries retaining possession of this point.
And in this situation, you are just better off. You're just better off losing that fight if you're AFMT. All you have to do is win one more fight to win this map. No ultimates across the board. The closest thing we're coming to is a captive son from Jonah, and it's final fight for both these teams. So who's going to be able to get these picks in the mid fight with no ultimates on the board?
If I'm not mistaken, Jot is going to get that ultimate very, very quickly. So both support ultimates online for AFMT. Captive Sun now popped by Jonah, hits 3 people. Jot able to help clean it up on to Lammy there. And this is looking like it's going to be AFMT not only taking this sub-map, but Mini cleaning up there onto Robbie Hash, and that is going to be AFMT taking Busan.
Very impressive from AFMT. That second sub-map was a lot closer. Shoutouts to Smelvin. But the split composition that AFMT was playing on that map is doing a good job against the Zarya, because you aren't able to farm up that charge as much as you would like consistently. You could definitely get that charge up, but being able to maintain it and keep it going for a long time is tough against the split composition, and Ank and Mini were just thriving on the Hanzo Soldier because of that, and they just were not able to apply any pressure onto those DPS, and it's going to be an issue going forward for Smelvin if they want to get back in this series. Is making sure you can get in the face of those DPS and take away the value that they're able to provide.
Yeah, and one thing that I noticed, I was saying it during the map, it just didn't seem like Fastien was being selfish with the bubbles, and it can work, but most of these teams are and players are smart enough to not shoot a Zarya who pops their own bubble onto themselves. You have to be smart with these bubbles if you want to find sustained success with Zarya, especially right now. So I think if they want to continue running this Zarya and to find success with the Zarya, you know, Fastien is going to have to adjust their playstyle on that hero. But speaking of Smelvin Industries, it is their map pick. It's going to be hybrid. So what would you expect to see as a pick from hybrid here?
They've been very favorable of that Zarya based composition, and if all the maps available for the Zarya, I think King's Row is probably going to be your best bet. It's a lot of long close chokes that you're pushing through, and that, you know, makes it very valuable toward the Zarya being able to give those bubbles take up, especially with the size being increased for your projected allies. It's going to take up a lot of that choke, and it's going to be very hard to not give the Zarya charge. So that would be my guess. I don't think we go to Eichenwald. I think that'd be the worst case. If not King's Row, I would expect Midtown, but we do have the map pick in, and it is King's Row.
Yeah. And who could have guessed that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be King's Row, and you know, kind of exactly what you were saying. It's up close and personal, exactly how you want to play on Zarya. Or I mean, I even saw Smelvin rock out on a Reinhardt comp against MME. So, you know, I don't really expect the Reinhardt, but not only would I not be surprised, I'd be elated to see a Reinhardt comp come out from Smelvin, and I'm expecting the Orisa from AFMT potentially. It's still very, very strong, and if you're able to hold these chokes well enough, you don't have to move, and that's where the strength of the Orisa comp with the Bapiari comes in, is that you stay alive, you stay in one spot, and you just chip down the enemy team until, you know, they're nothing.
I definitely agree. I mean, even in the NA Masters last night, we saw a Rhine v Rhine on King's Row, and that was NA, and EU is the one that's most known for loving their Reinhardt, so it would not be a complete shock to me if we see Reinhardt. But again, this is the EU Open, so this is like top of the top. They're probably going to conform a little bit more to the meta. I mean, Smelvin, even on Busan, consistently played that Zarya, so I think we're probably going to see that going forward for AFMT.
Yeah, we're gonna see a bit of a substitution here for AFMT. it is going to be Ken. I'm not saying all those numbers, but they're coming out on to the into the support spot, replacing, I believe, Jot. So coming in on the double flex support, I guess, because Jonah was their flex support. So what do you think that means? Because Ken is likes the Ana apparently.
I'm not exactly sure because with these Zarya-based compositions, especially if you end up going against another Zarya, having that Lucio to be able to provide those sound barriers to counter out the Graviton surges is very key. I mean, amplification, like if you play a Baptiste instead, you can counter them with Immortality Field, but that's just a lot tougher. You got to get the timing right, and then you have to hope that the focus fire isn't there to just blow through it. But I guess we're going to see maybe Zarya is not on the table. Who knows? But I can't wait to see what's going to happen on King's Row.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll come up with something interesting, right? I mean, this is the grand finals, no holds barred. You got to throw those haymakers where you can do it. So, I mean, I'm interested to see because I'm looking at these player sheets, and for AFMT, both Ken and Jonah do like the Ana. So, you know, it's not their map pick, so maybe they're trying to surprise Smelvin with something here. So we'll get into the map here in just a few seconds, and we'll see what the plan is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, AFMT up 1-0, and keep in mind, folks, this is a first to 3. So, in my opinion, this is a pretty close to as much of a must-win for Smelvin Industries, because being able to complete reverse sweeps are just so difficult. AFMT on the defense, looking to play this Orisa composition, and they're going to pull out. It looks like Ken is actually coming.
That's why I was laughing.
On the DPS, and Minnie is going to go play the support. So Ken's coming in to play Bastion, which the one thing you're going to have to be careful of is if fast CN gets to a high charge, it is tough sledding for a Bastion because you can just get melted very quickly. And with your turret form, you could easily get Zarya high charge very quickly.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing. That was not on my bingo card, was a support coming in to play Bastion. Mini going over to the Baptiste. But from Smelvin Industries, Robbie Hash is dead. Just like that. Not particularly what you want to see, but, you know, it's still early in the round. Only 15 seconds are off the time bank here, so plenty of time to go still. Fast CN headshot a little bit there by Ankh, but they're just playing safe, rotating up to the far high ground there. And this is an interesting thing here. You don't see it very often these days, this high ground rotation from Smelvin Industries. You see Ken back there on the second point, and now they're going to drop down here, and it looks like I mean, everything is flipped. It's now Smelvin Industries defending, but it doesn't look like their rotations have helped them all too much. They do find 2 picks, but eventually they do lose out on 3 others of their own, so they're just gonna have to back out here, and that was a long rotation.
I mean, but because of the flank Bastion, it really threw Smelvin Industries for a loop, but they've taken down that healing pylon, and the amp is out at Matrix.
Yeah, and if I'm AFMT, I'm scared now because that's a lot of damage, right? And it's good on Tops for being able to build up that window so quickly, but Ankh is just, you know, not exactly clicking heads, but ripping heads off. Robbie Hash able to trade it out, but Ken just doing it too much behind them. Robbie Hash coming alive on the Sojourn here. Looked so good on it the last time I watched them, and it looks like it's going to end up working out as Smelvin Industries, despite coming up short just a little bit on their long rotation, able to bring it back fast before the other 2 from AFMT came back. They're going to take point A.
It was very well played overall from Smelvin Industries. Between the May with the slowing effect, the Zarya with the high charge, it makes, Bastion's job hard. It makes Rex on a radio's job hard because you can get walled off away from your team very easily because of this May. And now you get to come into this fight. You're coming up on 4 ultimates versus 4 ultimates. As Joker would say, we got an ultimate fiesta coming online for these teams.
And speaking of ultimates, we're going to see the airstrike out from Ken. Doing its job. It's not exactly one ultimate that finds picks very often, but it pushed Smelvin Industries back for a brief moment. Now the window is thrown out by Ken as the Graviton Surge from Fast CN. Adam throwing those icicles in takes out Jonah. And now the window's popped by Tobbs. Robbie Hash does end up going down. But it's still looking like that window providing enough of that boosted healing and boosted damage. Smelvin Industries going to take the fight, and they're going to be one fight from completing B potentially. Maybe not even.
As we see Rex on a radio now swapping over to the Zarya. Gonna have to match this. We saw this on Busan previously. That Terra Surge Captive Sun combo, while great going against a Zarya, it's very tough to find the value because you have the cleanse to get rid of the Sunstrike.
The tragic thing is now Jonah is not the Lucio player for AFMT. Robbie Hash playing on the Sojourn still pops the overclock and pops Rex on a radio's life. Ankh opting to go off the map rather than int and feed more, but Ken in the backline taking out Tobbs on the way out too. I mean, it's not going to be consequential for very long, but, a little bit of a funny pick on the way out.
As AFMT is now completely swapping around, they're going to have Rex on a radio go onto the Diva, and we already saw this on Busan. It didn't get a lot of value. Can Anke on this high ground with the Ashe find the value because the Diva is going to struggle against this Zarya time and time again. They're going to have to look to get Robbie Hash.
And there's the airstrike finding that pick where Tobbs could not get away. The immortality field not enough to save them, and now Smelvin Industries on the back foot without most of their healing. Going to get out, but not before Ankh's Dynamite able to burn fast CN's last little bit of HP, and not able to keep the charge, and gonna switch over to the Diva actually.
I'm actually surprised. I mean, I guess high ground control that AFMT is taking is just going to force this swap. Easton's gonna have to try and get on top of Anke on this Ashe because you can't allow them just to continue to rule this high ground. It's going to be that much tougher for the Zarya composition to find its value. As you are gonna have a Blizzard, but everyone's playing high ground. Where do you find this value for the Blizzard?
That's a really, really good question. But I'm sure Adam will figure it out. He's a good May player, but Facian getting demeched is really, really not great there for Smelvin. They throw out the window. Mini being electric on the Baptiste finds 2 there through their own window, and Smelvin is looking a little bit lost at the moment. I think they maybe just need to forego the Blizzard.
I was kind of thinking the same thing because the May's just not able to find the value that it's hoping for, but Blizzard's such a powerful ultimate, it's hard to abandon that. As now they're going to use the Symmetra to get up to the high ground, but Robbie Hash is down!
And Rex on a radio not only kills Robbie Hash, but eats the Blizzard! And I mean, I don't mind the Symmetra pick, but I don't know if I don't like Diva as much with the Symmetra, right? Like, if you're gonna run that Symmetra, I feel like it should be with somebody that can't, like, somebody that does a little more durable, a little more up in your face. I don't know.
It also felt like if you're going to play the Diva with it, as you enter the TP, you got to be holding defense matrix for your team and not allow them to just get absolutely blown up like Robbie Hash did, like eventually at like eventually the other DPS did. I don't know. I feel like if you're, as you mentioned, if you're gonna play this symmetry, you go like a Orisa, you go a Zarya, you go a Reinhardt, you go a Junker Queen, someone that takes better advantage of getting in close and playing that more brawl style that symmetry provides to the table.
And you know, it's not exactly right, but I've taken to calling, you know, these symmetric comps, whether it's with the Junker Queen, whether it's with the Orisa, I like calling them dive. Because it tries to accomplish basically the same thing, right? Where you're throwing that teleporter up onto the high ground with somebody that can't normally get up there. Like the Orisa or like the Junker Queen, and trying to blow up that backline with all of the damage that they provide. So while it's not exactly a dive, I really do like the idea of getting people up there and into the fight just like that, like a Winston or a Diva would, right?
Yeah, for sure. As just waiting, having a little bit of tech issues. We are getting us straight back into some replays as we settle those tech issues. But again, look at this flanking Bastion. They just had no idea that it was coming. So it was well played on the defense by AFMT. I mean, but after they got that point, it was kind of tough sledding for AFMT until they swapped over to the Zarya and now the Diva, and they've been able to completely control high ground. And Smelvin just has not found an answer for trying to take this high ground away from Anko and from just everyone who's up there, with Jonah on the Mercy just continuing to enable Anke.
Yeah, and if I'm Smelvin, like, I need to figure something out fast because only 60 seconds left, and the same thing that happened the first time happened this time. They TP up onto the high ground, but Ken is just going to drop Lammy there, who did switch over to that Kiriko, and they're not able to find the value that you like with that Symmetra TP. And now they're on the back foot. Lammy able to TP through the wall coming out from spawn, and Robbie Hash caught out by the airstrike on the high ground. Nowhere to go. This is looking very, very dire for Smelvin Industries, as the closest ultimate they have is the Nano Boost, and they're going to build up to it here, but AFMT has almost 4 in the bank.
Yeah, they just got to be careful with Robbie Hash coming back to make sure nobody gets picked, because this is your final opportunity. Lots of ultimates online for Smelvin. Can they finally bring this home?
Oh, Adam throws out the pulse bomb right into the waiting arms of Adam, able to take it up and eat it. No, Rex on a radio. What the heck am I saying? But it's looking very, very strong here for AFMT. Smelvin threw out all of the ultimates that they could, but AFMT able to just put their boots on the ground and hold it. A beautiful defense there on the third point, but it's it's not an unwinnable position for Smelvin.
As Rex on a radio said, don't worry, I'm very hungry. I'll continue to eat more of those pulse bombs. Very impressive from Rex on a radio. That pulse bomb could have really set things up. Getting that eat is a very clutch play. Okay. And AFMT swapping over to that Diva to be able to control that high ground so effectively was really good. I mean, the one thing I kind of liked the idea was when Smelvin threw the bomb off to the high ground and forced everybody down. But so many of those heroes just have the ability to get right back up there. I mean, Ash has the coach gun. Baptiste can just jump up there. The Mercy, just Guardian Angels up there. Diva uses her boosters. So to me, it was just Smelvin was not able to, just take away that high ground properly. They tried with the Symmetra teleporter, but it just wasn't enough. As we now reboot to the attacking phase for AFMT, both teams are going to play that Zarya. For these first 2 points, you're going to see a lot more value out of that Zarya because high ground isn't as important. On that third point, that high ground control is everything. So let's see what these teams are going to be able to do.
Yeah, back to the old grind here, and Rex on a radio, already in the face of Smelvin. has already popped both bubbles, but they've pushed Smelvin so far back, it's kind of ridiculous, actually. Facian trying to get into the face of Ken and Rex, you know, just taking a casual stroll around the wall thrown out by Adam, and already has a tick, and I mean, I don't think that Smelvin was ready for the speed that AFMT was going to put on them.
Which is surprising to me, considering both teams are using that Lucio as a defensive team. I mean, you have the advantage of being able to hold close on these chokes. It can be very tough to be able to push in, but AFMT was just able to build up to that Zarya charge and just go through and melt down the backline of Smelvin Industries. And now they're going to be able to get past this archway, which is such a strong defensive position for Smelvin to be able to hold. They're going to have to look to just hold this bookstore corner instead now.
And Fast able to build up to some pretty high charge here, but it doesn't matter if your Lucio gets found out like that by the flanking Bastion. I mean, they're just... AFMT is everywhere Smelvin is trying to go, and they just can't cope. The Bastion is on the flank, and with Rex on a radio at such high charge, and Jonah just speeding him into your face, I mean, what can Smelvin do? What they're gonna do is go to an Orisa rush instead of a Zarya rush to try something a little different.
But now that you got this more close quarters brawl composition that AFMT is playing, this Blizzard can get a lot of value for Adam.
But I mean, the window popped by Mini, and it's gonna find Robbie Hash early. That's just, you don't like seeing that if you're Smelvin Industries. Blizzard popped by Adam, and you know what? It was a good Blizzard. I think it froze 2 people, and Rex on a radio had to burn both bubbles before getting out here, and actually able to sustain. No, okay, that was a little bit of a delayed kill by Rex, but yeah, popped the grab into the Blizzard as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, the grab that Rex on a radio used, that's kind of not how you want to be using your grabs. It was more defensive, but it was saving himself while the rest of his team was still kind of out in the open, frozen, solid, by that Blizzard. Is how we're going to see the Bastion ult coming into play.
Not going to find anything there, but it did push Robbie Hash off the high ground, who does opts to switch over to the Bastion here. Immortality Field from Tobbs to keep Robbie Hash alive there. Able to do so along with that beat. Onk did pop the dragon, but not going to find the value there. But the rest of the team is happy to just continue to find kills. AFMT on the attack is looking deadly. It's just Adam left, and blown up by the sticky grenade of Ken. It's going to be a monumental time bank here going into C for AFMT.
And to me, this has felt like what we saw on the earlier attack for Smelvin Industries, where we were seeing AFMT play the Orisa into the Zarya, and it just was not working out. And for some reason, Smelvin is looking to try and do that once again, as Anke is now over to that Ashe. I'm pretty sure once we get this Graviton Surge out of Rex on a radio, I think there's a good chance we get a swap over to the Divas, the flanking Bastion!
Yeah. The scariest thing in Overwatch right now, a Bastion behind an Amp Matrix. And Ken shows that off, but they're able to make it a 2-for-2 trade. Tobbs able to find 2 of his own. Facian ends up falling there, but it's just not enough as the grab comes out from Rex on a radio on to Tobbs, and danger. All of the alarms are going off here for Smelvin Industries, and it's just not going to be enough, as it's going to be AFMT setting off that EMP and taking King's Row and going up 2-0 to match point.
Very impressive coming out from AFMT. Their flexibility is on full display, being able to seamlessly transition between the Zarya, the Orisa, the Diva, and Anke on this hit scan roll has been incredible. We've seen them on the Hanzo, we saw them previously on Busan on the Soldier 76, and now Ashe on King's Row. They have just been absolutely fantastic, and it's a big reason why this team is up, is the ability for their team to play and flex across so many different heroes.
Yeah, and you're seeing it as Smelvin, a really good team in their own right. They're just not able to cope with that flexibility. I mean, we're looking right now, it's what I'd refer to as a ranked meta, where there's just so much counter switching, especially from that tank position. And if you're not able to be just as flexible as your opponent, you're not going to be able to win.
Could not agree with you more. It's just ridiculous seeing this bash and flank as much as they've had, and they've just gotten away with it. You think at a certain point, if you are Smelvin, you'd be expecting it, but time and time again, you just continue to get caught off guard by that. And now AFMT is on that match point. We are going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. Will AFMT bring it home on map 3, or is a reverse sweep on the line here for Smelvin Industries? We'll be right back.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to our EU Console Open Tier Grand Finals for the mid-season tournament here. We're looking at a match point here coming out of the break. AFMT up 2-0 over Smelvin Industries. And it's going to have to be a reverse sweep if they want that extra win on their record for the rest of the season. But in order to get it started, we got to go to Flashpoint. And it's going to be Servasa, the more popular of the two that I've seen thus far.
Yeah, I haven't seen New Junk City picked once so far, so people are definitely preferring Servasa. But my big question has been, Flashpoint hasn't been in very long, so have teams been able to get as much practice in as they would have liked on these maps and feel comfortable enough? I think, and because there's only 2 maps, sometimes, you're a team and, like, let's say you're more of a specialist team like the London Spitfire. You know what maps are favoring your style, and you have your different maps of the map types that are better suited to you. I don't think Flashpoint has been out long enough for people to thoroughly figure out what compositions work best on which of the maps and which ones work better into like their style of play. So I think it's very open for both teams. As we mentioned, AFMT on that match point, being able to get that extra match point toward their overall end of season standings. So a lot on the line going forward as we're going to take a look at some replays from the series thus far, and it's been a tale of flexibility coming out from AFMT. Not every composition has worked as much as it should have, but they have had the smarts to know when to swap things and change things, and that has worked out very well for them.
Yeah, and I mean, they look good on every like, most of the tanks they come out on, especially, we've seen Rex on the radio, come out on the Zarya, come out on the Diva, come out on the Orisa, the, 3 of the tanks that I would consider to be, relatively in the meta, and they've just outplayed Smelvin Industries on all of them. Facian has looked okay on the Zarya, but just, barely getting edged out by Rex on a radio every time they try to run a different tank. So, I mean, here on Servasa, I mean, it's been a map that I've noticed that a team that is down in a series, they can win, right? A Flashpoint is a very, very weird map type. Like you were saying, a lot of people, or it hasn't been out for very long, and a lot of people don't exactly know how to play it perfectly yet. So it's one of those map types where if you're down in a series, it's a good place to try and find that momentum to keep yourself alive in a series.
Could not agree with you more there. And the one thing I have learned about Flashpoint in the game mode in general, that never say never when it comes to this map. I've seen it on cast. I've personally experienced it in the game. 2-0 doesn't necessarily mean anything. I've seen plenty of reverse sweeps specifically on Flashpoint. It just takes one good roll of the point to set yourself up defensively, and then you're able to just snowball from there. So very excited to see how this goes. Will AFMT bring this home, or are we headed to a map for Smelvin Industries?
And you know what? For everyone's sake, I hope Smelvin can bring it out. Because, 3-0s are never very interesting to watch, right? So, I mean, for everyone's sake, you and I are a little more selfish, I'm sure, in wanting this series to go on a little longer. But, yeah, I really do hope that Smelvin can bring it back and win this map, because I really do like this roster. I think everybody on this roster is very, very good. Adam has one of the best maze that I think I've seen in a long time, especially in CGL. Robbie Hash has absolutely looked stellar on that Sojourn that he's picked up the last couple of matches that I've seen him play. And Facian on the tank has looked very, very strong at points. So I think that they have the talent to win here, and I know they have the talent to win here. It's just a matter of can they keep their mental together and bring it out here against a daunting opponent in AFMT.
We are about to see a look at these compositions. AFMT, no surprise here, they are going to keep the Zarya-based composition. Same with Smelvin. The big thing is Smelvin is not changing the DPS whatsoever. They're going to continue to play the Mei and the Sojourn, and AFMT is actually going to match them this time. The big question to me is, it seems like as we've exited the doors, it seems like AFMT was coming out on that Kiriko versus Smelvin Industries was on the Baptiste. So Smelvin's gonna have a lot more healing available to them, and the added effect of that immortality field. Kiriko's gonna provide that ability, especially if you can land those headshots of finding the kills that much faster. It looks like we are resetting the lobby here. What it looked like. Yep, that's exactly what we're doing. So, maybe we see those compositions. Maybe they change things up. I don't know what happened there, though.
Yeah, but whatever. We're in the match now. Hopefully, no more technical issues coming out from either team. I didn't exactly see why that was paused either, or why we reset. But we're in now, and it's still going to be the Zaryas coming out from both teams. And now it's a perfect mirror. Instead of the Kiriko, Jonah now on the Baptiste. So perfect mirror, a lot more healing for AFMT, and the speed is still going to be integral for both teams here.
Yeah, and we are going to get that Baptiste mirror. So, again, this is just going to come down to these teams being able to play these compositions. I think it's going to be a really good display of these Meis, Mini versus Adam, who is going to get the better walls to try and isolate these enemy Zaryas.
And we see it here. The first point is always going to be on Market, on Servasa, and it looks like Smelvin has gotten that forward position and taken control of the point area, just not quite capping it yet. Of course, it has yet to unlock, but trying to build up that charge here up to about 70%. I'm not quite sure what Rex is at, but fast, I believe. Oh my goodness, already at 100 charge on that Zarya. So that is a lot of damage coming out from Rex on a radio. And it's going to be Fastian that falls early. Smelvin Industries does get the first pick. But it's not going to matter without that front line, without that Zarya. They're not going to have the sustainability to keep this going. And at about 17 or 20%, it's going to be AFMT's flip. And they're getting aggressive here, just trying to get these last second staggers on to Tobbs there, the last one to fall.
Yeah, I wasn't sure why you didn't just go and die there. If you were Tobbs, it was probably, you're just wasting more and more time. The good thing was, Smelvin was able to steal away 21% despite losing that first fight. So, as now, AFMT already has this amplification matrix online as Tobbs is behind, so this is a great advantage for AFMT.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to see it very, very soon, but I mean, that's a really, really strong first pick from Mini, taking down Adam. They no longer have that control of the area like Mini does, and it's going to be another great hold from AFMT. And now if you're Smelvin Industries, you have to decide, are we going to try and get another touch here, or are we just going to wait until they cap to know where to go and rotate early?
I don't think they even can, so that's going to be a new point unlocked. AFMT takes a quick 1-0 lead on Servasa, and they're going to have 4 ultimates to come into this fight. Mini has the Blizzard, and Adam just barely hit 70% as we now head to, I believe that is Palace. So Mini's gonna have this advantage of being able to use the Blizzard in this fight. Lammy does have the sound barrier to try and mitigate the amount of damage you get from the Blizzard.
All right, we're gonna see the Blizzard coming out from Mini. as well as a grab from Rex on the radio. I don't know who that hit or who that was for, but that's two ultimates that are super impactful from AFMT that are just gone from their repertoire now. And the grab from Facien finding a couple of targets there, and it's going to be Smelvin that takes the first fight on Palace here and the first flip.
Yeah, that fight was absolutely disastrous for AFMT. As you mentioned, losing both that that Graviton Surge and the Blizzard. Smelvin Industries, however, used 3 ultimates of their own to keep that going. They will have double DPS ultimates. So this sound barrier for Jot has to be on point, probably looking to counter out this Blizzard.
Speaking of the Blizzard, there it is, Jot dropping the beat. But both overclocks now used by both Sojourns and Ankh with 2, Ankh with 3 from the Sojourn there. Jonah cleans it up on to Lammy, but the overclock from AFMT is just better, and Facien following up with their team into the spawn.
And you now get a full reset on the ult charge for both teams. Both teams committed every ultimate they had to try and keep that fight alive. Rex on a radio is getting very close to this Graviton Surge. Should be able to get that up before Lammy has this sound barrier available. They got to find value this time around.
Can they get a big wall? No, they can't. The wall is a little bit premature. Not able to cut off anybody as it goes down immediately. Now the Graviton Surge out from Rex on a radio. A beautiful wall from Adam to cut off a lot of that damage, but it just doesn't matter as Facien gets blown up by Jot, who is sliding around on those walls. But Robbie Hash showing the proficiency with the railgun. Ankh cut off by the wall from Adam, and Mini has the Blizzard if they want to use it, but it's probably a bit of a bad thing to do there. And it's going to be Smelvin finally taking it back here, and there's maybe a fight left here on Palace.
There is going to be a fight left. You're going to have that Blizzard, but Facien's going to have that Graviton Surge, and Jot does not have this sound barrier. So this might be able to allow Smelvin to tie up the score on Saravasa 1-1. They get a touch just in time.
Here is the grab from Facien. Robbie Hash popping the overclock to clean it up. Finds 2, 3. A quad kill for Robbie Hash. And that is going to be Palace to Smelvin Industries. We're at 1-1 here on Flashpoint.
As the victorious little victory pose coming out. And the best part is they get Gardens as the next roll. So now they get to go straight. Just a little like 20 meters they have to walk, and now they get a hold defensively, and they're gonna have a sound barrier for the sustain for these incoming DPS ultimates from AFMT.
And yeah, we're seeing Adam building up close to the Blizzard, but Robbie Hash starting it out with a pick on the Mini, who threw out their Blizzard. Both Mays are no longer in play right now. The Blizzard freezing up one, able to kill one. And it does end! It does end, Facien! Taking out Ankh, popped the overclock. Both Sojourns out of the fight now too, as Smelvin Industries taking the first flip here on Gardens. Graviton Surge out from Rex on a radio, and I mean, they're gonna win it out, but it took all that they had, 4 ultimates.
Yeah, that was an extremely expensive fight for AFMT. They're going to be able to have the Ant Matrix coming into this fight, but Adam has this Blizzard, and with a more tightly contested point, it should be able to get tons of value. Plus, there's a looming Graviton Surge. This should be a quick and easy retake for Smelvin Industries. If you're AFMT, you got to be on it, ready to rotate away from some of these dangerous ultimates coming.
Yeah, Adam looking for a big target with this Blizzard. Facien and Tobbs building really close to their ultimates. Oh my god, Jot! Okay, it's a 2 for 2 though. Able to keep it alive here. The window popped by Facien. And Ankh able to clean it up through the Amp Matrix. AFMT able to keep it alive. And Jot with a beautiful boop, killing 2 people, and they're gonna take Garden.
Wow, Jot coming through for their team when they needed it the most. Absolutely insane. Now we're going to see that is Temple as the next map. Because of the great distance having to cover it in the closer spawn, Smelvin should have this ability to hold in a good position, and they're going to have a Graviton Surge to combo with an Amp Matrix.
Yes, they will, and they're going to have that overclock building up too. So this is going to be hopefully not too expensive for Smelvin, but they're going to pop the window here, blocked off by Mini's ice wall there. They're just going to kite it. You know, they're happy to give up the position if it means not dying and giving up about 15 or 20% on the flashpoint. Window has now faded away. Robbie Hash is built up to the overclock lane, getting really close to this beat. Grab out from Fastien, no beat to sustain through it. Blizzard also thrown out by Mini, and they're gonna find Adam here.
As the Graviton Surge now comes out.
Yeah, and that's the power of just backing up. You know, you don't have to be aggressive right at the beginning. You're able to just kite all of the damage that came out from Tobbs' window, and they're just like, yeah, Shmee Shmop, we'll move in right after.
40% gained for Smelvin Industries, however, but this is Smelvin's last chance. They have to run the table on Saravasa, get these next 2 points to force a map number 4. We're going to get sound barriers, but the Peace Day Resistance, this overclock from Anke, is going to be the ceiling of the deal for AFMT.
And we have to see a good counter ultimate here from Smelvin Industries. We're going to see Jot drop the beat, Jonah dropping the window, Lammy now throwing out a beat of their own. Fastien able to take down Rex on a radio. Adam has the Blizzard, but the overclock, it's going to come out for Ankh right after they take down Lammy. Smelvin Industries going to get the flip as the overclock fades away. Adam takes down Mini. Fastien has so much charge, but is so low, able to stay alive as Adam cleans up Jonah and Ankh. And now there's probably going to be one more fight here on Temple.
Again, my question is for AFMT. Are they going to look to try and commit hard into this next fight? Or do they just want to play it patiently, maybe force out the Amp Matrix and then live to fight another day? Because they're kind of like middling close to ultimates. So they could be looking very good for one final. Oh, what a great wall! And that gets them
Oh
the
my
point!
god! Yeah, I mean, Adam knew exactly where they were. Adam does end up falling, but it just doesn't matter. And
Yeah.
they're going to take Temple.
That is insane, as it's all now going to come down to ruins. And this is my favorite point about Flashpoint, is these fights that these teams can take in between these points getting unlocked. And now AFMT is going to be able to go straight over to those ruins and take a great position to be able to take those fight. Wait, what?
We're going to get a fight on market, I think.
Yeah,
No, okay,
that's what
okay.
they were worried about. What's going on there? Okay, they
Yeah,
did get over to the
AFMT able to
ruins.
get away. All right, they'll get to runes. All right, we're gonna see it here. Adam trying to get a big wall. Oh my God, the wall from Mini, or the wall from Adam. Sorry, blocking off Fastien's Graviton Surge, so they don't find a target. That's extremely, like, that's the worst case scenario. They use their Graviton Surge, one of the most impactful ultimates that they have, and it's just blocked off by their own May wall.
And you are going to be able to get 2 ultimates coming in to get out 2 ultimates from AFMT. But they have this Graviton Surge with absolutely no counter from Smelvin Industries whatsoever. But they can, in tune, counter with this Overclock plus a Blizzard. I mean, you're relying a lot on Robbie Hash and Adam, however.
Yeah, building up to this grab is Rex on a radio. A good wall from Adam to get rid of all of that value. The overclock from Robbie Hash blocked off by the wall of Mini. thrown out there, and now we are in last fight territory here as Rex on the radio takes down Robbie Hash, beat out from Jot. Onk taking down Tobbs after sliding in with the overclock. Can they do it? Can they finish it? They will. They will. Adam finds 2 on the way out, but it's just the May left alive, and it's going to be AFMT, your mid-season EU Open Tier champions.
Shout outs to AFMT. When the rubber needed to hit the road, backs were against the wall, they came through with the goods. Anke on this Sojourn, absolutely dominant. Mini, I mean, we saw a great wall come out from Adam to secure them that 4th point, but as you mentioned, Mini hit another wall of his own to completely nullify an overclock from Robbie Hash and to get them that point to begin with. So very impressive May play from both of these teams across the board. But wow. AFMT, their flexibility, their teamwork was on full display. It's a big reason why they are your grand champions.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking to that flexibility, I mean, they didn't even switch on Servasa. They took that Zarya head-to-head and pushed Smelvin Industries over. And they looked great on the Zarya rush the entire time they were on Servasa. And I mean, on the other 2 maps, like you were saying, it was a matter of they were just able to keep like themselves in by switching like a ranked team, right? You want to have the best way to win in ranked is to switch to counter the tank, and that's what we saw from AFMT for the most part. And so many great plays as we're seeing here from both of these teams, but it is going to be AFMT that takes the championship here in our mid-season tournament. And going into the rest of the season, they're going to have an extra win tacked on to their record here. And as for Smelvin Industries, another couple of map points.
Yeah, I mean, good things for both teams going forward, but you would definitely take that extra win going toward the final seedings of the playoffs. Congratulations to AFMT. You guys absolutely dominated and showed that you guys are currently the best team. Couple things before we close out this broadcast. We have 2 NA games coming on later tonight. That is going to be, we got Shadow Monarchs versus Lijiang Legion. Fletch will be on the mic for that game. And then we also have Red Team versus Strawberry as well. The first game is at 8 Eastern and the second game is at 9 Eastern. So make sure to tune in to both of those games. I'll be on the mic for the second game, so you guys have a lot to look forward to. But with that, we are going to wrap things up. I'd like to thank our incredible crew we had behind the scenes. We had Hippie, KhazixMayJump, Mark, MI Blizzard, Unfeatured, and Zeuser. Thank you in the Fletch for coming in last minute to fill. Appreciate it, my man. And thank everyone who is watching in the chat for watching this incredible matchup. I've been 2 Tryhard Ray, joined by In the Fletch. We'll see you later tonight.